a professional services company. WeatherTight and Network Health on the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ.
We Energies want you to keep this important safety message in mind. Before you start digging, planting, or landscaping on your property, call 811 to have underground utilities marked. Calling 811 at least 3 business days before you plan to dig will help you know what's below and can prevent a hazardous situation. Our representatives will mark the underground utilities on your property for free. So remember, stay safe and call before you dig.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
This one is way out there and gone.
There's no greater feeling than when your favorite baseball team hits a clutch home run. But wouldn't it be great if you could do that with your business? SVA Professional Services can help you do just that. We pride ourselves in providing measurable results for clients that span a multitude of industries in the service areas of accounting, tax, business consulting, and more. Get your own measurable results by visiting sva.com/home run. We'll see you at the park.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
George, you just had an incredible shift. What's it like turning those double play meal deals like nobody's business?
George, any thoughts on your next shift?
George, what's your secret? Hold on, folks. Let's give our star a moment. He's been busy making double play meal deals all day long. There you have it. Sounds like the secret is George Webb's Double Play Meal Deal. 7 crave-worthy cheeseburgers and 2 fries. Available all season long, so you can fuel up for every game. George Webb. Our kitchen is always cooking.
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ. It's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from American Family Field. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Sun is shining, dinner is going to taste a little bit better, and the Brewers go 5-2 on their first homestand of the year. 2 series wins, once against a division rival. All right, this is what it's supposed to look like. Hi, everybody. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Thanks for joining us here on 620 WTMJ. Jerry Augustine is going to join us in just a moment. The Brewers win today, 8-2 over the Reds. No time like the present. Let's relive it with the highlights right now.
Ready for this?
Out of here!
This?
One of the catches of the year!
And this?
It is gone!
Time for tonight's highlights.
This one billed Chad Patrick for his second big league start against Carson Spires, a pair of right-handers. It was scoreless after 2 innings in the early going. Then in the bottom of the third inning, picked things up with a leadoff single by Oliver Dunn. He managed to get to third on a ground rule double by Bryce Terang, and the first of a few RBIs on the night for Jackson Churio.
1-2 pitch. High fly ball, deep right field, chasing Fraley back into the corner. Fraley will make the catch in fair territory. Tagging is done. He will score. And tagging from second and heading to third is Terang. Brewers take a 1-0 lead on the sac fly for Jackson Churio into the right field corner.
Lane Grindle on the call there. Meanwhile, Chad Patrick was rolling. He dealt with a little bit of traffic in the 4th inning, leaving 2 2-out walks stranded, but he got his 4th K of the day against Encarnacion Strand. So in the bottom of the 4th inning, that's when some of the chaos happened for the Crew. A leadoff single on a great at-bat by Sal Frelick, 8 pitches long. Then a single by Jake Bowers. That was 6 pitches long. A sacrifice bunt by Joey Ortiz moved runners to second and third. Tito Francona went to his bullpen, went to the lefty Sam Mull to face the lefty Oliver Dunn, and the very first pitch he threw was through the backstop. It was a pass ball to the catcher Austin Wins to make it 3-0 Brewers. Then the Brewers not afraid to play a little small ball. Oliver Dunn delivers.
So the infield now in. And Dunn bunts it up the first baseline if it stays fair. It is a fair ball. It was scooped up by Encarnacion Strand. And so sprinting home is Bowers. And it's 4-0 Brewers.
That ball looked like it was going to roll foul, but Encarnacio Strand fields the ball, tags out Dunn, but 2 runs score on back-to-back pitches with the ball not getting past the mound. So it's 4-0 Brewers. The lefty is still on the mound, and with 2 outs and a man on third, he walks Eric Haas. Bryce Terang with a 2-strike single up the middle. That makes it 2 men aboard, and the Brewers have a chance to really blow this open with Jackson Chourio.
There goes the runner. 1-2 pitch. High fly ball. Left field. Inside the pole. Gone. Jackson Chourio.
I mean, this went from nobody on, 2 outs, to a 3-2 count walk, 1-2 count single, 1-2 count homer, 7-0 Brewers. But just wait. Chourio wasn't done.
1 pitch is a high fly ball. Deep left field. Bye-bye baseball. Chourio's done it again. A solo shot, and he's driven in 5 this afternoon.
That made it 8-1. The Reds would tack on 1 more. 8-2. The final score today, 8 runs on 8 hits for the Brewers. No errors. 2 runs on 5 hits. 1 error for the Reds. Brewers left 3, and the Reds left 5. But Chad Patrick is your winning pitcher, the first of his big league career. We'll talk about it up next with Jerry Augustine and you. 855-616-1620. Again, 855-616-1620. Right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers baseball is here. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Don't miss any of the big games or the superstars. And come back for the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's every game all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
For people with disabilities, an opportunity can make all the difference. Get help navigating the transition into adulthood, employment, housing, healthcare, and more with Thinkability Wisconsin, a resource hub that empowers people with disabilities.
So this job makes me feel very confident. My goal is always to grow myself and learn new things.
Live life to the fullest. It all starts when you say yes. Contact a Thinkability Navigator to get help at thinkabilitywi.org.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzek. Have you been to the Hounds and Tap yet? In Menominee Falls, this state-of-the-art facility and the ultimate hangout for hounds and humans. Grab a drink at the indoor-outdoor tavern, let your dogs hang out. You can even book professional grooming services, from pedicures to full spa treatments. Every day is a play day at the Hounds and Tap. Hang out with your dog and others, or drop your dog off for doggy daycare or doggy boarding services. Check out thehoundsandtap.com. That's thehoundsandtap.com.
I came in over 10 years ago and I couldn't breathe ever, and ever since then now I can breathe.
Breathe well with simple solutions at vetnose.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, comedian Roy Wood Jr. joins Marcus and Chris. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast. This is Brewers Extra Innings.
Brewers win 8-2. They win the series 3 out of 4 over the Reds. I'm Dom Cotroneo with Jerry Augustine as well. Hey, Milwaukee, looking for a banking partner that truly understands your business needs? Look no further than Fifth Third Bank. With a local team right here in Milwaukee, they know how to hit it out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that helps your business thrive. Experience the unique commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. Let's start with the 21-year-old Augie, because holy cow, this is why you play 162. Yes, he started 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. We all know that, but already he's doubled his RBI total, and he's got 3 homers on the season to lead the crew. It's not supposed to be this easy. He's 21 years old, and he has his second regular season 2-homer game.
He's one of those guys that you can't make a mistake on it. Just looks like he's so quick on the inside part of the play. It looked like the home runs that he hit today were mistakes that the pitcher tried to get in on him down. One of breaking balls, both of them breaking balls. Just got a little bit of spin on him, and Jackson just put a really good swing and hit the balls out of the ballpark. He is so quick on the inside part of the plate. But as impressive, I thought, was in the third inning, getting that sacrifice fly, going with a pitch away from him, staying back on the ball, being patient, hitting the ball the other way to drive the first run of the game in. So he just had a really good game. But he is one kid that one kind of type of hitter, a young hitter who's got such quick hands. You make a mistake on the inner part of the play down, he's going to hurt you. And today he did it twice against the Cincinnati Reds.
Specifically, that sacrifice fly, it was the same pitch that he struck out on in the first inning, right? It was a backdoor sinker back in the first inning against Carson Spires. He had tried to go back to the well, and instead, Chourio did exactly what you're supposed to do with that pitch and go the other way, like you said, because if he tries to pull that ball, that's a rollover, ground out to short, and that probably turns into a double play, or I should say they were second and third, so it wouldn't have been a double play, but it's a ground ball, and now what he wanted, he's able to elevate the ball. And that's what we've been talking about the last few days with the Brewers' woes with runners in scoring position and the contact play and all this stuff. One of the ways you can avoid the contact play is just put the ball out of the infield. And Jackson Chourio understood the assignment today, adding 5 RBIs to match his career high, the big 3-run homer in the 4th, and then the solo no-doubter in the 7th. To think that he is only in year 2, and to think that he is still only just starting to tap into his potential. We've only seen it for about 80 games or so last year, and now we're 10 games into the season now this year, and he's already got 3 homers in the first 10 games of this year. It's like, man, you start to let your mind wander, but you have to calm it down a little bit because there are going to be slumps. There is going to be a 1 for 30 somewhere in there, but man, to see him continue to thrive the way he has got to make everybody in this organization happy.
Yeah, it's been so impressive the way you see him. And last year when he had the struggles and Adames worked with him, and he had to sit back and he fought through those struggles, and then all of a sudden he learned something. He learned that the more he slows the game down, the more he's patient at the plate, he's going to get the pitches to hit. Pitchers are going to make mistakes, and since the middle of last year, he's just been fantastic. And today, like you said, he struck on the first pitch at a pitch on the outside part of the plate, didn't handle it first time, came back, knew what he had to do to get a run in, stayed back, was patient with the plate, slowed the game down, drove that ball to right field for a run, and then they made 2 mistakes on him, and he made them pay. So he's just he's one of those talents that has that ability now. He's understanding the game much better each and every time year he goes out there and at bat and situation he gets into. He's just becoming just a really productive offensive player that for such a young kid that understands the game and can slow the game down so well.
We'll certainly talk about Bryce Terang today, too. We'll talk about some other pieces of the offense. And, of course, we have to talk about the winning pitcher, Chad Patrick. Let me get to a couple of texts here, 855-616-1620. Again, 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talking text line. Josh in Greenfield. Today was an all-around impressive performance. To be at 500, considering all the challenges, is the best-case scenario. Terang, Frelick, Chourio all seem to be coming into their own offensively. It's getting exciting. This one from Doug, after starting 0-4, happy to be 5-5. Could be a lot worse. And if Chad Patrick keeps pitching like this, the starting rotation looks tough. Very good call there. Let's get to the phone lines as well. Brian and Tosa, you've been waiting patiently. Brian, you're live on Brewers Extra Innings.
Thanks for taking my call, Dom. Yeah, so everything I was concerned about yesterday is completely flipped today. Chourio, the sac fly, what a concept. The pitching, maybe we caught Tobias Myers 2.0 with Patrick. We'll see. The only concern is still the big boys got to get going. But, hey, the other ones are picking up. And if they start clicking, watch out. We will be the powerhouse that we were. Oh, and Chourio with 2 home runs. Did I not say where are the home runs? Well, that led to 4 runs. Everything in that game is polar opposite of a lot what happened up to this point. So it's a positive note. I just hope we can get to Freeland, left-hander. We'll see how we handle it in Colorado. But the future's looking up.
It is looking great. Good to hear some positivity from you, Brian. Appreciate you. Let's talk a little Chad Patrick after the break, but real quick on the offensive front, 10-game hitting streak for Bryce Terang now, Augie. Terang at the top of this order when they're facing righties, he's at the top. When they're facing lefties, he's at the bottom of the order. But today, a ground rule double and a single. Another quantum leap is certainly on it. And Pat Murphy thinks it's more of his confidence, his understanding that you can't ignore the fact that this is year 3 from him, and he has gotten better in each of the previous 2 years. And if there's more room to grow here in year 3, we're starting to see it come true so far.
I think the one thing, Dom, you have to be really impressive is his plate coverage. And now, he has some struggles against left-handed pitchers, of course, and he's going to work that out. Those things are going to come, but he has such good plate coverage. That double he hit in the 3rd inning, that was a ball that was off the outside part of the plate a little bit. I wanted to go away. He went right with and hit the ball over the left fielder's head. So, here's a young man who's really on a good start. He's got that 10-game hitting streak, but he's up there and he's patient, letting the pitches come to him and hitting the ball where it's pitched. And today he put some good swings on the bat. He's really swinging the bat well. He's a nice guy to have in the beginning of that lineup. When you got Cotroneo and Cheerio at the top of that lineup, the way they're swinging the bat and the way they're playing right now, that's two good players to have right at the top of the lineup.
I agree. All of it sounds really good from the offense right now. And even like Brian said, Christian Yelich and William Contreras. William had the day off today. Yelich 1 for 4 with an RBI single today, too. Good sign from him. A couple of loud exit velos for him. Off-day reset button. Should be good things to come for them. We got to talk about the pitcher with the pitcher. That's coming up after the break here on 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins is bringing back their famous 2-foot party subs. Whether it's for a big game, family gathering, or work celebration, Cousins 2-foot party sub is sure to be a crowd pleaser. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99, feeds 5 to 8 people, and requires 24-hour notice to order. Order today through April 27th in store, online, or on their app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Look what I found.
What is it?
It's a list of the traditional and modern anniversary gifts for each year of marriage.
Sarah and I use a different list. But go ahead and tell us about yours.
The traditional gift for your first anniversary is paper, but the modern gift is a clock.
Well, our list says the first anniversary is always diamond jewelry.
What's your list called?
The People's Choice.
The traditional gift for your 6th anniversary is iron, but the modern gift is wood.
What a coincidence. For the 6th anniversary, our list says diamonds again. What do you have for the 10th anniversary, Rick?
Traditional is aluminum, modern is diamond jewelry.
Well, there you go. Our lists agree. What have you got for the 7th anniversary?
Copper and a desk set.
Nope. Diamonds again.
I'm beginning to see the wisdom of the People's Choice list.
It's good to have you on board.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Did you make up that People's Choice list, or is it real?
Well, we're people, aren't we?
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Let's take your inside living outside. Outdoor Living Unlimited puts cool stuff in your yard. Patios, decks, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, screen rooms, even in-ground pools. You dream it, we design it together, then Outdoor Living Unlimited installs it for you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, Cider.com.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings.
Brewers get the win. They're 5-5, 10 games into the year, despite getting swept in the first series. They bounce back with a series win against a playoff team in the Royals, and 3 out of 4 against the Reds. Oh, by the way, their 11th straight series win against the Cincinnati Reds. With Jerry Augustine, I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Also, some good news today from Chad Patrick. His first big league win and only his second start. 5 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run on a homer, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He threw 80 pitches, 46 were strikes. Part of this, too, for Chad Patrick today is he is recovering from the flu, which he was suffering from at the very beginning of this homestand, and part of the reason why he only went 4 1/3 or 2/3 on Tuesday while he was battling that illness. Now he feels a lot better. He pitches into the 6th inning and delivers exactly what the Brewers needed once again, just like on Tuesday. He bookends his outing with both the first win of the year and now the 5th win of the year for the Brewers. Let's just start at the top. What did you like most from Chad Patrick today, Augie?
You look at what we've talked about in the starters that have had good outings in this series. You talk about from the first game with Nestor, and then over to Alexander with the great outing. But today, when you look at what Chad Patrick did, you look at what he does. 80% of his pitches or more are either cutters or fastballs. And he's not a ground ball pitcher. He's a guy who locates the pitches. He'll throw that four-seam fastball, get a little bit of rush on it, and throw it at the top of the zone. He can throw it down in both quadrants on the inside and outside part of the plate. But then he throws that cutter, and he can throw that cutter at a little bit different speed. I thought today that every once in a while he'd throw a good hard cutter up in the zone, which makes it different to react to, and then he'd back off and it'd be a little bit bigger. So he's a touch and feel guy that it can pitch to the top of the strike zone, throw there for strikes, and keep hitters off stride, and yet pitch ahead of hitters. So I tell you, I thought he threw the ball excellent. Being able to command the fastball like he does, four-seam fastball on both sides of the plate down, go up when he wants to, and then be able to use that cutter effectively, and then change speeds with that cutter a little bit. Sometimes we'd say with a slider, it's not a slider. It's more of a little bit bigger cutter, but it's effective because the movement on the ball makes the hitter off stride a little bit, and they don't get that good swing on the ball. But he threw the ball extremely well today.
And the comfort for him to pitch up in the zone, right? He made one mistake with the cutter on the solo home run by Spencer Steer, and he was geared up for it. But I think it's a juxtaposition, right, of what we saw yesterday with Elvin Rodriguez and what we saw today with Chad Patrick. They're very similar velocity profiles, or very similar pitches with the cutter and the way they try to get guys out. But the difference was the location. You saw him all around the corners, at or above the zone, uncomfortable swings, a lot of pop-ups. It's the type of pitch that when you see it come in, you're like, here comes a shot, right? If I'm the hitter, I'm ready to gear up and see a pitch at the top of the zone. And just that little wrinkle leads to as many pop-ups as we saw today for Chad Patrick's day. I mean, in total, he's not a ground ball guy in the slightest. Today, 4 out of the 6 in-play outs were airborne outs for Chad Patrick. And then he added in 4 more strikeouts in there, too. The comfort at the top of the strike zone is very difficult to master, but if you have a little wrinkle at the top of the zone, hitters are going to be uncomfortable all day long.
You're exactly right, Dom. You get that, I call it touch and feel, because if you watch him inside on a right-hand hitter, he throws that cutter on the in part of the plate, it's going to be a hard cutter. It's not going to be anything off speed that has a little bit bigger break. But if he throws it away, he'll throw it hard, and then he gets in a situation where he can maybe get a strikeout or get the guy off balance. He'll throw it a little bit of a wrinkle, maybe take a little bit off it. It's got a little bit bigger break on it. He does that very, very well. Being able not only to command the fastball up in his zone, in the strike zone, and get the hitters on stride for a little thing, but to be able to change his speed so just a slight bit on that cutter makes the break on it and just gets them off stride, gives them that different look. Very tough to hit, and I'll tell you what, he throws it, and he throws it very consistently. You can see why he has so much success.
And of the 80 pitches he threw today, only 2 of them were non-fastballs, right? Sinker, four-seam, cutter. Cutter had 36 of them. Four-seam had 30 of them. Sinker had 12 of them. Changeup, 2. No sliders, no curveballs, nothing else. Here it is, hit it. I rely on command, and give credit to the Reds in the middle innings. Like, they were getting patient. They were getting comfortable understanding how that pitch was breaking, as he was missing a couple of backdoor opportunities with some of the lefties he was facing. But then he hunkered down and got the job done and made the adjustment. If teams are going to wait out Chad Patrick to nibble on the edges, they're in for a tough time, because he's got the command to force them to take uncomfortable, non-conventional swings, because these are perfectly placed pinpoint pitches that, I mean, I don't want to say it's just so, it's all reliance on command, right? It's all reliance on you putting the ball in play. He's not a swing and miss guy. I mean, I'm not saying it's Maddoxian, where it's just like the command is so precise. I'm not saying Chad Patrick is Greg Maddux, but Maddux didn't blow guys away all the time. He was able to stick it on a corner and say, it's a strike. If you swing at it, you're going to ground out or you're going to pop out, but it's a strike, so you got to swing at it. That's where Patrick finds his success.
Yeah, there's no doubt when you talk about it. Just like pitching, we talk about being a good pitcher, you have to have that good balance and stay on top and follow through and go down through. It's the same way with a hitter. And what Chad Patrick has been able to do, he's been able to keep these hitters off strides with the locations like you talked about. You talked just of the secondary pitches were so few. But what did he do? They were near the strike zone. They were close to the strike zone, or they were a strike. Those things that just give the hitter that heads up, oh, he does have that. Now he has his good cutter and his fastball that he locates so well that he keeps these hitters off stride and makes them very effective.
I also want to shout out the bullpen. With the off day tomorrow, bullpen is in great shape for a Colorado series. And given the start of this homestand, the way things went last Monday against the Royals to where they are now, to have an off day, a fresh bullpen, McGill is rested up and ready to go for 3 games against the Rockies and then 3 tough games against the high-flying offense in the Arizona Diamondbacks. You're set up as well as you want to be when you head out west against a couple of great offenses. Jared Koenig got back on the horse today with 2 strikeouts. Also, great work from Abner Uribe. He continues to take strides. The Brewers bullpen is starting to keep things moving in the right direction, and they didn't even need to use all of their A arms today.
Yeah, and they're throwing the ball very well. 4-game series against Cincinnati Reds. What's most impressive, what do you want? No walks, no free passes, no walks against Cincinnati. Bullpen throwing the ball very well, been very effective. In their 5 wins, they gave up just 6 runs as a pitching staff. That's really impressive.
I really think the other thing, too, you mentioned about the Reds, the Brewers held Ellie De La Cruz to 2 for 16 across these 4 games with no extra base hits, 5 strikeouts. They even caught him stealing today. Obviously, the Reds offense goes as Ellie goes. As case in point, the only time he got RBIs was the big 11-run output yesterday, and the Brewers almost came back and won that game, too. So keeping Ellie under control, always a focal point for any pitching staff, and dare anybody else to beat you. The Brewers played that game plan to a T over this weekend.
Impressive how they moved the ball around on him. They just made him look on outside, inside part of play, and they stayed on the inside part of play with breaking balls, fastballs away, and he just couldn't handle that. And I'll tell you, it was impressive the way they pitched him because he's a great young hitter, and Brew pitchers did a nice job against him.
Well, we do have to react to more injuries and give you the update on Nestor Cortez. That's coming up next. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. Again, 855-616-1620. Back with more after this on WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
From sliding framed, semi-frameless, or frameless glass shower doors to heavy all-glass custom enclosures that can be built to fit any opening, at Less's Glass, we cover all the bases. But our biggest strength isn't only our selection. It's in our installation experience. We've been around nearly 40 years, and you only last that long if your installers leave the job the way your customers expect it to be left. Other places can sell you a glass shower enclosure, and some of those big guys may even be able to do it for a little cheaper. But the question you need to ask yourself is, will the job be done right? So remember, paying for quality only hurts once, but it does feel good when you get what you expect. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
This wasn't how Patrick here in Milwaukee pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I'm gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. This is Brewers Extra Innings.
It's another win for the Brewers. Good homestand. But we do got to talk about more injuries with Jerry Augustine. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Before we do that, I want to thank Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. With spring here, warmer weather is on the way. I promise. It is on the way, despite what the forecast says this week. Is your AC ready for the summertime? Right now, at Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical, you can get $25 off an AC tune-up. But hurry, this deal's only good through the end of April. Visit cider.com today to schedule your appointment. That's SEIDER.com. More bad news for the Brewers starting staff today, as Nestor Cortez was placed on the injured list due to a left forearm flexor strain. Never good news when you're talking about the arm, but the Brewers, of maybe the original 8 that they pictured the season with, if you include Jose Quintana in that, well, they're down to just 1 with Freddie Peralta as the last one there. Augie, what do you got?
Well, I'll tell you what, you talked about getting hit by the bug with your starting pitching staff. The Brewers have definitely that. But, one thing, you got to get healthy. And if Nestor Cortez felt something and didn't feel like he could do it, it's better that you get him to the side, get it corrected, put him on the IL, see if he a little bit of rest will help him, and then go from there. You got to give credit to this Brewer organization. They have guys who have continually, like Chad Patrick and Anderson, stepping up and pitching the ball very well. They're going to get healthy. It looks like Tobias Myers is on his way back. And once they get healthy, get Jose Quintana in that starting rotation, they're going to be just fine. But going through some struggles, you don't see much like you do now when you have, 8 or 9 starters that are hurt for you right now, and your top pitchers, probably 4 of your top 6. That hurts you a little bit, but they'll get healthy, and once you get healthy, they're going to be pretty good.
The other thing you worry about with the Brewers right now is when they're all healthy, how is this going to fit? Because they need everybody right now, to say the least. The good news is Tobias Myers will probably be back at the end of the month. I'm looking at like that Cardinals series or that White Sox series based on what the rehab schedule looks like for him. Aaron Savali is eligible to come off the IL a week from tomorrow against the Tigers. Now, does he need a rehab assignment? We don't know. Brandon Woodruff is scheduled for early May, and we don't know the timeline yet for Nestor Cortez. And Jose Quintana, with, knock on wood, he's good to go for Friday. That's the first day he's eligible for Friday against the Arizona Diamondbacks. But in the meantime now, the Brewers behind Freddie, it's all TBA. Freddie will go on Tuesday, but now with Nestor going on the injured list, it's TBA Wednesday, TBA Thursday. The Brewers have a couple of options here. They can slide everybody up a day using the off day, meaning you have Tyler Alexander go on Wednesday on the 5th day on normal rest, and you have to get one more start from Elvin Rodriguez on Thursday, again on 5th day normal rest, or do you keep Tyler Alexander on the extra day and have him go on Thursday and then throw a bullpen game perhaps on Wednesday? Grant Wolfram added to the roster today to do that. So that's a decision the Brewers are trying to figure out right now. But reinforcements are certainly on the way. Quintana is going to be somebody the Brewers are excited about. Tobias Myers, I watched him throw a bullpen today. I watched him do his drills. He looks healthy. He's excited to itch at the bit and get ready to go. And Brandon Woodruff is throwing a simulated game tomorrow here at American Family Field before they go to Colorado, and then he'll be going on to Nashville. So, yes, it stinks that Nestor's hurt, but as you just said, you can see it on the horizon. There is a path, there is a contingency plan for the Brewers to get healthy again.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You got to just be patient here. And, you look at a guy like Tobias Myers had such a great year last year. He looked like Aaron Savali. Hopefully he won't have to go do a rehab start. But, you look at the way that Chad Patrick and Alexander is throwing the ball. You just got to give credit to this organization, the staff, what they've been able to do, the way they've stepped up and done what they have to do to win ball games. So the big thing that we'll go to Colorado, we'll see what it starts out, whatever decision to make. I'm sure that's going to be a good decision. And they're going up against a Colorado team whose starting rotation right now is pitching at a 2.61 ERA. It's not their starting rotation. It's been their bullpen that's been struggling. So it's going to get interesting when you go to Colorado. It's always interesting when the Brewers go to Colorado, but this will be even more interesting.
The Brewers rotation, like we said, is TBA and TBA, but once they get to Arizona, that means it could be Quintana on Friday, and then you line up Chad Patrick on Saturday and Freddie Peralta on Sunday. This is getting ahead of ourselves here, but I like that rotation against a team that's got a great offense, a team that the Brewers have had some really good dogfights with the last couple of years. And then when you come back for the Tigers and for the A's, two offenses that are a little less dangerous, but they're still big league hitters, the Brewers can continue to weather this storm. This West Coast trip is going to be difficult on the pitching staff. It always is, but perhaps those last three against the Diamondbacks, they have the guys they really want lined up for those.
Yeah, I agree. I like that group of three guys that they have there. It's going to be interesting. You know, you just have to fight through this. They're going through some struggles right now. They're up. They're still playing. They're starting to play good baseball. The guys are stepping up and throwing the ball very well, and that's what they needed. Once everybody gets back, everybody gets in a regular routine and see this rotation the way it's going to be, I think we're all going to be very happy. But a little bit of struggles now. We just got to fight right through it.
All right, Jerry Augustine with us here on WTMJ. Appreciate your thoughts and insights as always, my friend. I know you'll be watching and looking forward to talking again soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you on Tuesday.
All right, Jerry Augustine here on WTMJ. Got a couple of questions in the text line, and also our player of the game poll is concluded. 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620, right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Transform the way you do business with Fifth Third Bank's Commercial Payments Solutions. Our market expertise and managed services streamline your entire payment process, seamlessly integrating with your existing systems to give you unparalleled control. Discover new revenue sources, save time, reduce operating costs, and boost your bottom line with our customized payment solutions. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
A Rolex isn't as cheap as a Casio, and you can't buy a gold bar for the price of a candy bar. But while they last, you can buy high-end Beauty Rest Black and Sealy Posturepedic mattresses for nowhere near high-end prices. Hassellus Mattress is clearing out a handful of premium floor models. These are the best of the best, and now you can get them for way less. Like a Beauty Rest Black LX Hybrid was $3,599, but now it's just $971. Or a Sealy Posturepedic Golden Acres Pillow Top was $1,093, but the floor model is just $546. Visit any employee-free Hassellus showroom and test your favorite floor model without salespeople breathing down your neck. You won't find these mattresses priced this low anywhere else. It's like buying a Lamborghini for $10,000 just because it sat on the showroom floor. Only a few floor models are available at each Hassellus mattress location, and when they're gone for good. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for CertaPro Painters for your home or your business. They came out, did the exterior of our house. The team walked around the entire house with me, pointed out a couple spots that I needed some extra work done. I didn't even realize it. The team's at CertaPro. They've got your back. Call and ask about their spring sales event going on now through May 15th. It's CertaPro Painters, the best in the business. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. It's CertaPro Painters. Took care of me, they'll take care of you. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings.
All right, it's a win for the Crew. 5-2 homestand. Late nights on the way. But don't worry, we podcast all of these post-game shows. If you don't want to stay up late with us, Brewers All Access, wherever you get your podcasts. So first pitch times this week, 7:40 on Tuesday and Wednesday, 2:10 on Thursday, 8:40 on Friday, 7:10 on Saturday, and 3:10 on Sunday. Then the Brewers are right back home for a quick 6 games in 7 days homestand. That'll be with the Tigers and the Athletics. couple of questions that came in here on the text line. One of them about Joey Ortiz. All the discourse about the bats that they need to wake up, they sure did today. We're not too worried about Yelly and William, but we all know they will contribute at some point. But Churio, Frelick, Terang doing their jobs. Where's Ortiz in all of this? This is an important year for him offensively. Are you seeing anything promising that's waiting to be unleashed? It's a good question, and I'll stick my neck out again. I picked Joey Ortiz. If we were going to do like a quantum leap candidate, I thought Joey Ortiz was going to be that guy. And there's no reason to pull the plug on somebody 10 games into the season. I mean, just look at Jackson Churio's first 10 games last year. 10 games into his big league career, he was off to a great start, but then he cooled off over the next 20 games, and then finally it kind of bottomed out there at the end of May and then turned things around. Joey Ortiz, to this point in the season, his numbers, he's played in every single game, mind you, go like this. A 162 average, just 6 for 37, 7 strikeouts and only 1 walk, just 1 double. Not much on the on-base or the slugging percentage, but a 10-game stretch that could easily be erased by a good 10-game stretch when the Brewers head to Colorado this week, when you get a little bit of more altitude, some space in the outfield. Things go according to plan for you. That could certainly help out the picture for Joey Ortiz. But look, he's the everyday shortstop. I mean, he's going to be the everyday shortstop until something really takes a turn for the negative offensively and the Brewers feel they can't use him. But I was talking to some evaluators this week about Joey Ortiz in particular, and some folks are still extremely high on him, especially in the fact that they see, a comp that one scout gave me was a stronger Nick Ahmed, meaning Nick Ahmed was a Gold Glove defender with the Arizona Diamondbacks, tremendous shortstop, but the bat sort of left something to be desired at times in his career. Some scouts feel that Joey Ortiz's ceiling can surpass Nick Ahmed's ceiling. Ahmed this year is bounced around. I believe he's in camp or in AAA at the moment in the Rangers organization. Forget where he is now. But all those years with Diamondbacks, back-to-back Gold Gloves in 2018 and in 2019. But for his entire tenure with AZ, he was an 11-win player, a 234 batting average, and a 664 on base. That 11 wins mostly coming because of his defense, and also aided by the juice ball year in 2019 when he hit 19 home runs that year. That being said, Joey's got time to figure things out. Just like every opportunity was given to Bryce Terang last year to take that quantum leap, Joey Ortiz is going to get every opportunity to move forward and get better and find a way to be an everyday contributor, because he showed what he was able to do once he got those everyday reps last May, and that was a little taste of maybe what could come for Joey Ortiz. When he was trying to fight for playing time and fight to prove his worth, the way he started the season before a couple of nagging injuries kind of sapped his power and struggled down the stretch. It was the tale of two halves and really the tale of 2 months or so for Joey Ortiz last season, leading up to July 1st, because then he got placed on the injured list leading into the All-Star break. Joey Ortiz was having an 817 OPS with a 270 batting average. But then from the second half on, playing virtually every day, he ran out of gas and had a 637 OPS and a 210 batting average the rest of the way. I don't think that is the mean for Joey Ortiz. I believe it is somewhere between those two, of that 270 and that 210. And if he's a little better than league average here in year 2, remember, he's still only a sophomore, trying to make sure he's ready to go for the full season, to be in for the long haul as an everyday shortstop. It's hard to be an everyday player in the big leagues. A couple of notes here from the player of the game poll. Running away with that player of the game poll was Jackson Churio. 64% of the vote over on my X at Dom_COTRONEO. But Chad Patrick did receive 30% of the vote and a few write-ins in there as well. A lot of folks wanted to give some shout-outs to Bryce Terang, trying to give him some more credit. He deserves more credit than he's getting, but it's hard given Jackson is a star and Chad Patrick has been stepping up big time. Other mentions here from the game that folks want to monitor or learn a little bit more about with the Crew is the Brewers' offense and their lineup right now, considering when they're facing righties. They're going to face Kyle Freeland tomorrow, or rather on Tuesday, a lefty. Do you keep Bryce Terang at the top of the order even against a left-handed pitcher? I say why not? He only did it a handful of times last season. He's already done it once so far this year. To borrow a quote from Pat Murphy, the best hitters hit the most. And Bryce Terang right now is one of your best hitters on this team. I want to Sharpie him in the leadoff spot for the Brewers for the time being, because you look at his start now, not only the 10-game hitting streak, but he's adding some damage to it. We've talked about this plenty so far, but the fact that his exit velocity has gone up a touch, his contact point has gone out more further in front of the plate, and to have that as an addition to his abilities to let the ball travel and slice it the other way. I mean, his ground rule double went the other way today, something to monitor for him, and his talent to be able to hit with power the other way, but his exit velos continue to climb for what we've seen so far this year. I'm pulling it up right now. He has had 4 balls already hit 105 or higher, and then 5 more balls that were hit another 100 or higher. So 10 balls already 100 or harder at this point in the season for Bryce Terang, and exit velocity was really not in his repertoire or his calling card of skills a year ago. If this continues to trend upward, I'm excited for what that could be for a full season. Of course, he had his hardest hit ball of his career with the home run at Yankee Stadium, 110 off the bat in that one. He's got 2 homers this season already. It took him a while to get the 2 homers, a little bit later in April last season, but he's going to continue to have an opportunity to have 650, 700 or so plate appearances this year. And we joked last year, he got 50 stolen bases. That was with an on-base percentage of .316. So you look at it year by year. A .285 on base in his rookie year, and he still stole 26 bases. Then he increases that by 30 points the next season. His stolen bases doubled to 50. But this year, if he continues to increase his on-base percentage, maybe he won't have the opportunity to steal as many bases because he might be hitting more doubles, might be hitting a few more home runs, fewer times on base at first. Granted, he's already 2 for 2 in stolen bases at this point in the season. In just a moment, we're going to hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, after a victory today. We're also going to look at the out-of-town scoreboard as the Brewers get ready to go on the road, and we'll preview that a little bit more closely with what the Brewers could do with their roster and what the pitching needs to do to make sure they survive Coors Field. Still going to the bottom of the hour right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
It's time for you and that diamond to come alive again.
At the 4th annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Even if you have a good ultrasonic jewelry cleaner, it can't match the pressurized steam cleaning we do at Kessler's.
Let us steam clean and polish your engagement ring.
For free.
I'm Joe Gerke, president of Kessler's, and we want to strip away all the soap scum that is making your diamond look dull.
For free. And while we're doing it, we'll inspect the prongs on your ring to make sure your diamond isn't about to fall out.
It's the 4th annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Here's another idea. Bring us anything you own that needs to be repaired, and we'll give you a price to make it like new again.
And if you have some old jewelry you don't wear anymore,
we can make something unique and wonderful out of it.
Unique in all the world.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wildy?
Yeah,
everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts.
Yeah, sure. Okay. No drafts. Got it.
There's more than one draft?
No, but Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades when you order by April 30th. Our talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more, along with durable and distinguished details. All Pella products stand the test of time, which is why we confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 4/30/2025.
This is Brewers Extra Innings.
Brewers win. Let's give you the rundown of what's to come here for the Brewers before the gauntlet of May. You've heard me talk about this on a couple of Brewers weeklies so far, but here's the upcoming series for the rest of the month, as you've got some quality teams here in April, but especially so in May. Tigers, obviously, what a run at the second half of last year to make the postseason and ultimately fall in the ALDS to the Cleveland Guardians. Then you go to Arizona. They missed out on the playoffs by one game a year ago. They were in the World Series just a couple seasons ago. They're still a very good team and very actively going for it. We already talked about the Rockies. The Rockies are the Rockies. Now, the A's are interesting because they've reloaded. They've added some payroll, but remember, they were forced to add payroll. Otherwise, they were going to face a grievance from the Players Union. So not all that glitters is gold. Nonetheless, the A's are in a new era with some young talent like Lawrence Butler, who hit his first homer today, but they just lost a series to the Rockies today. Then you've also got guys like Brent Rooker, who are still around, Shea Langoliers, who are still around. They're going to be interesting, but not quite ready to be a playoff team. After that series, that homestand, the Brewers go on a 3-city road trip. 4 games in San Francisco, who, oh, by the way, are white hot to start the season. San Francisco has had an injection of energy. Wonder where that came from. They're 7-1, and they have a chance to go 8-1 by the end of the day. They're up 4-3 on the Mariners right now in the bottom of the 8th inning in the city by the bay. So keeping an eye on those Giants, because the Brewers have a 4-game set there. Then they go for 3 games against the Cardinals, who are playing a doubleheader right now against the Boston Red Sox. They were walked off on in Game 1, 5-4, and now getting ready to go for Game 2. After the Cardinals, you get an off day, and then you get the White Sox. Now, the White Sox starting staff has been okay. Their bullpen has not, and their offense leaves a little bit to be desired. But then it gets real, because when the calendar turns to May, here are the consecutive series in May, and I'll just note, playoffs or contender, if they were in the playoffs last year or if they're contending to be in the playoffs this year. Home for the Cubs, contender. Home for the Astros, playoffs. On the road to take on the Rays, contender, and Minor League Park, going to be tough. On the road to take on Cleveland, playoffs. Home for Minnesota, contender. Home for Baltimore, playoffs. On the road for Pittsburgh. That's your first non-contender or playoff team of this list. Home for Boston, contender. On the road for Philadelphia, playoffs. World Series or bust for them. Then you go back to Cincinnati for the next meeting with the Reds. That's a heck of a gauntlet on the way. So the Brewers are going to try to create some running room here to have some space over these next 4 series where you get the Rockies. It's Colorado. Anything goes at Coors Field. But after the Rockies, you get a tough test with the D-backs, an offense that's faltered a little bit with the Tigers. Yes, a playoff team a year ago. And then an A's team that's still learning how to win. 3 of the next 4, the Brewers are going to be potentially favored in, if you will, if you're into that sort of thing, for what the rest of April could look like. And then they're certainly better than the Cardinals, in my opinion. They're certainly better than the White Sox, in my opinion. That Giants series is going to be difficult, too. We'll parlay that into an out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a moment. But first, let's hear from the manager, Pat Murphy. He chatted with the media after today's win.
How impressive was Chad again today?
Yeah, it was really good. The whole pitching staff gave us what we needed. Credit Haas. Did another great job behind the dish. A great job navigating through. And Koenig came in a big time and did what he had to do. And Uribe was good, and Anderson, that's the first time I've seen him really, other than New York, and he did the job.
What can you say about Patrick just seemingly knowing who he is, what he needs to do on the mound? You mentioned Hosmer too, but just
poised.
It seems in touch with what.
Yeah, very, very, very poised. You wouldn't know that he's just starting his major league career. Very poised, sensible with his stuff, and there's a ton of room for improvement, but just him gaining that confidence that he belongs and that he can help us is twice in this series, or twice in this homestand. It's really kind of significant.
What about the response overall from the team to how what happened in New York and then to come back into your series here at home?
Yeah, that's what I hang on to right now because we're not playing great. Now, I'm not going to candy coat it. Like, we're not playing great. You can say, well, they won 5 out of 6. What are you talking about? We're not playing great. And it's one of those things where I think we'll get it. But it's that point that they found a way to win. And, Reds are banged up. They dealt with some sickness. The McLean kid, one of their best, didn't play but one game, one other at bat. So, again, I just credit that our guys, played to win, even though they're not, Yelich had a great game today, and he's not swinging it the way he wants to. His numbers aren't the way they want them. Terang continues, Frelick continues. Jack, has been a little bit up and down, but today was really, really impressive. But we got a bunch of other guys just trying to get off the schneid and really, get in a rhythm a little bit. But Haas set the tone in the first inning, throwing out De La Cruz and that stolen base. That doesn't happen very often. And then it was on, Terang's big double opened some things up, and then obviously Jack's 3-run homer changed it.
Is there something to be said for, after digging out of that hole, getting back to 500, getting that off day finally to catch your breath and kind of start over?
It's not about starting over, but, you look 10 games in, and with what we've had to overcome pitching-wise, this is what we needed to do to stay afloat. Now you guys got the information. We've got another starter down. That's uncanny. We've got one starter from spring training still in the fold. That's hard for a small market team, to deal with that. It's guys like Chad Patrick that stepped up the way he did, and Anderson or Alexander the other day. That's what it's about, especially when you're, playing teams that are going for it. So, yeah, I'm not pleased by any stretch of the imagination. That's just not how I operate. But I am encouraged that we had enough fight to play hard, and I felt like, most of the time today we were focused and stayed after it.
You mentioned Bryce. It's still early to look at the numbers, but just the way he's hitting the ball, the hard hits, a bunch of them again today. Is there maybe something there that's meaningful, especially considering he hasn't had a trade-off of losing his contact while getting the damage a little more?
I think he's getting the damage because he's way more confident in taking pitches he doesn't need to swing at. He's not up there wondering what's going to happen. He's up there with a mission and a conviction. That conviction is, I'm going to hit the ball hard. And you can get away from that when your numbers are terrible. You can get away from that. This is very, very mental. But he came into this thing thinking, I'm going to take another step. I took a step last year. I'm going to take another step. And I think he's on his way. It sure appears like, he's swinging the bat with authority. Come out and watch our pregame, and you're like, that same kid I saw 2 years ago,
We didn't get a chance to talk to you after we got the news this morning, but just where is your level of concern right now with Nestor?
I'm obviously really concerned. We were concerned after the first outing, something was up. We learned about it. He said he could pitch through it, and he certainly did. But now we're at a different level of concern, and you just shake your head at how many pitching injuries we've had. We monitor everything like any other club, but I think we even more so have been diligent about every little thing and hyper vigilant about throwing programs and strength and conditioning programs. But he came with this injury, he came with some. We knew about. He had some flexor tendon stuff, so it's not like same with Thomas. We knew he came with a cranky elbow, so
Well, that's not great news there at the very end, talking about knowing guys. But look, just about everybody's dealing with something, okay? That's the modern reality of baseball. And studies are showing that this is the minefield that you have to navigate right now from the end of spring training through the first month of the season. More injuries happen in this 60-day window than any other time in the regular season. And the other news today with Nestor, if there's a silver lining, is that that's the first one that's arm-related, and it's not a new injury. I know some folks might be frustrated by the fact that, like, well, wait a minute, there's not medicals exchange. Yes, there's medicals exchange, and there's stuff that goes into all of these trades when a guy that was on the injured list in the second half of last season and worries about his flexor tendon, which leads to elbow issues. But the thought is, you understand everyone's got a little something going on in their elbow. Every single guy generally has something going on that you don't know about. But it gets to a point of management where it's, I can't deal with this anymore. And he pitched the other night, pitched through some discomfort, and made the realization that I can't keep going down this path. It's only going to get worse. So the Brewers are going to try to get it right, make sure that he's good to go for the rest of the year. We'll take our last break, take a look around the out-of-town scoreboard, and say goodnight here on 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Cotroneo for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery, like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
April Brewers action rounds out with the matchup against the Tigers and Athletics. Catch the series opener April 14th as the first 10,000 fans get a Brewers t-shirt designed by Unfinished Legacy. Then get Brewers collectibles at back-to-back games against the Athletics. First up, Peanuts Night on April 18th, featuring a Franklin bobble with special tickets. And don't miss a Brewers football jersey for the first 25,000 fans April 19th. Get set for an action-packed April at Brewers.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we believe in making the most of what you love, making sure your money is as well spent as your time. So as you start your spring projects, we have the value you need to make them your own. Right now, Rewards members get a free $10 gift card with an $80 estate fertilizer purchase, 10% off our entire assortment of quality sump pumps, and save 20% on all Gardner Bender electrical tools and supplies. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ishnala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ishnala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings.
All righty, getting ready to say goodnight. Few minutes left here on the show. Just give you the quick update, the skinny on what's going on in the league right now, as who's surprising, who we're trying to keep an eye on, who's real, who's pretender. Here in the National League, the Central is compressed. The Cubs lose the finale against the Padres. So the Padres lose the series, but they take the finale. They're now 8-2. The Cubs are now 7-5. Of course, they've got 2 more games because they went to Japan. The Brewers don't see them until the start of May. But the way things stand right now is that the Cubs are the only team technically above 500 here in the division, but nobody cares about the standings until after the All-Star break. The Phillies take the series from the Dodgers, significant their first series loss for L.A. The Phillies are 7-2. The Dodgers are 9-2. Both of them are very good. But what's crazy is there in the West. You've got 4 teams legitimately going for it, right? You've got the Dodgers at 9-2, the Giants who are on their way, they're 3 outs away from being 8-1, the Padres being 8-2, and then the Diamondbacks at 5-5, who are certainly in the go-for-it mode. They'll be keeping an eye on what happens in the rest of baseball because it's going to be fascinating, the wild card race this year. I don't see a scenario where if the Brewers don't win the division here in the Central that they're going to find their way in as a wild card team just because of how stacked this Western division is. By the way, the Mets, they're 6-3 right behind the Phillies. I don't think Miami's going to be sticking around at 5-4, especially if they do trade Sandy Alcantara. And I don't think the Braves are going to stay 1-8 all season long, too. So keeping an eye on the NL East. Now, over on the American League side, the Rangers are off to a hot start. They're 8-2. They just got a sweep against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Angels get another win today. They're 5-3. Mike Trout hitting 3 homers now over this last weekend, too. Good news for him. That's an interesting AL West division. The East is very compressed. All 5 teams feel like they have a shot this year. The Yankees are 6-3. They lost the finale today to the Pirates. The Red Sox won Game 1 of their doubleheader. Now they're getting ready to go for Game 2 against the Cardinals. They're 5-4. The Blue Jays 5-5. They split the opening series, and they've been kind of back and forth so far. We mentioned the Rays getting swept. And then Baltimore is 4-6 so far in the year. They lose today to the Kansas City Royals by a 4-1 final. The AL Central is also compressed, just like the NL Central. Detroit, the only team above 500 there. They're 5-4. They've won 3 in a row, including in walk-off fashion today off the bat of Spencer Torkelson with a double to left. Kansas City gets the win today, but the White Sox are now coming back down to earth. They've lost 5 games in a row after starting 2-2. They are 0-3 so far on the road. The Brewers will see the Pale Hose at the end of the month. Okay, once again, off day coming up tomorrow. I'll be on Brewers 360 tomorrow morning on WTMJ with the morning news guys with Vince Vitrano and Eric Bilstead. That's on every morning at 8:45. Now that we're really into the swing of things with the season, the Brewers have plenty of guests that come right here on your flagship station. I'm on Mondays. Got Pat Murphy in there. Got Matt Arnold in there. Lane Grindle makes an appearance as well. So there's a whole list of folks that are helping give you the content you want right here on WTMJ. And then with an 8:40 start time on both Tuesday night and Wednesday night, we will be with you after the game. 7:40 start time. Beg your pardon. 7:40 start time Tuesday and Wednesday. No Brewers warm-up for me for any of those games this week against the Rockies, but I'll be with you after the game on both Tuesday and Wednesday to react to the Rockies games. No post-game show on Thursday, no Brewers Weekly either because of a Bucks conflict. And then Friday, we will be back with 8:40 late-night baseball, Brewers extra innings after Friday night's game. Also, we'll have warm-up before both Saturday and Sunday's games against the Diamondbacks as those games start at 7:10 and 3:10. All right, 5-2 doesn't mean the Brewers are going to play in the parade. Also doesn't mean the season is over. A good first homestand. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. 10 games down, 152 to go. Can't wait. For our producer, Evan Wittallison, I'm Dom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
Is your business ready to take the next step? At Fifth Third Commercial